And we're back with a new book review. Today we're going to be speaking about The Untethered Soul. And honestly, this is actually one of my favorite books I've read. It's different to a normal type of self-help book that I normally read. This is more about spirituality, but it's just teaching you to be happy, detach from the world, things that go on that might stress you out. Hence the name The Untethered Soul, right? Super, super, super helpful book. I definitely recommend you guys read it. So without further ado, I'm gonna tell you guys the three main takeaways I got from this book. So that you guys don't have to read it yourself. But if you get to it, the first point and the major takeaway was like, you are not your thoughts, right? Slash, you know what? We're gonna hyphen that. We're gonna hyphen that first point. It's you are not your thoughts, but who am I? A lot of people don't really know how to answer this question. If you ask them who am I, they'll tell you, John. But you're not John. You're not just a collection of letters, right? Someone asks you who you are, you might say that, I'm John who went to school here, who works here, who was born here, right? But you're more than just your memories, right? So a lot of the time when you get these thoughts that just pass through your head, etc., it might be overthinking. It's like, hey, did I lock the car? Did I leave the stove open? Do you think I was a bit too rude to that person? Should I have pushed back in the meeting and stood up for myself, right? It's kind of like a madman that's talking in your head, right? When you actually listen to this voice. Like if this voice was a real person and you could give it a physical form, you get pretty annoyed with this voice that's talking, right? You'd want to get away from it. So why do we actually give it so much grace? Why do we give it the floor so much in our minds, right? And when it comes to who are you, you're your consciousness. That's the simple answer. You are your consciousness. And why? Because you're aware of these things that are happening. You're aware of your thoughts. You're aware of your emotions. You're aware of what's going on around you. But you're so close to what's going on that you don't realize that you are not your thoughts. You're just aware of them. So you're actually your consciousness. Because if you took away different memories, etc., you'd still be you. If you took away, your eyesight, your smell, your sense of taste, you'd still be you. But if you took away your awareness, like you actually genuinely being aware that you're here, aware that you're alive, if you took away your awareness, if your awareness was taken out of your body, you're not the same person. So you are your consciousness, and the closer you can get to your consciousness and just look at things from a deep seat of consciousness, just like observe, like it's like you're in a movie and you're watching life happen rather than being so attached to everything that's going on. That's the way you want to live life, and that's how you start the process of becoming untethered and free, basically. So just think of it as, let's say for example, you are, those IMAX cinemas where you're super engrossed in the movie and it's taking all your different senses. Pretend you're watching the Odyssey. You can see what's going on. Obviously, it's a cinema, but you can also smell certain smells. There's motion. There's sound, etc. You're super engrossed in the movie. You actually might even think that you're in the movie, right? It's super realistic. And then at the end of the movie, it snaps out. Well, let's say someone shakes you, wakes you out of it, and you're like, oh, shit! Like I'm actually not in the movie. I'm me. This is real life. You snap out of it, right? This is actually what a lot of people are living their life in. They're living it as if they are in the movie, but they're not really snapping out of it. They're getting too drawn in by what goes on. They think they are their thoughts. Hence what, like, just like how people might feel like they are in the movie, you feel like you are in your thoughts, like you are your thoughts, but you're just watching them. These are just objects of life that happen. Like, it happens. You shouldn't get too attached to it. That's my first biggest takeaway, right? And the second one, going on to my second point, was stored pain builds a prison around you. And this is why, like, a lot of people, they feel depressed, they feel sad, they can't let go of events that happened years ago. And it's a lot more easier said than done, right? But you hold on to a lot of negative things that have happened, things that you're scared of now. Your comfort zone now is based off past events that have happened, right? This is why a 60-year-old can feel the same insecurity that they felt when they were 5 years old for the same kind of thing. Let's say, for example, you're someone who's super short, right? Let's say you're super short. You've been told that since you were 5 at school, and now you're 35 or 25, and it still might evoke that same anger, right? Or maybe let's say a traumatic event happened, it still might evoke that same anger because you've not let it go. Your heart is like an energy center, energy that flows through you, and the more you hold on to negative things that have happened to you in the past, the more closed your heart is. Energy can't flow through it, and it just gets to a point where it's simply you've got so much blockages in your heart that you're walking around grumpy, no energy's flowing through it. And this is how people get depressed, where there's so many blockages that energy just can't pass through their heart anymore. Like there's so many things they need to let go of before they can actually move on, right? There's so many things they need to let go of. And he calls it, they calls them samskaras. I remember that's what he calls it. And, you know, there might be these little blockages, these little pockets in your heart of blockages. And then when you see something that kind of sparks that memory again, you're like, oh, and it kind of ruins your day. It gets you in a bad mood again because you need to let it go. And it's a lot easier said than done, like I said, but the way to let it go is simply just make the conscious decision to just, you know what? I'm going to let this go. I'm not going to let this affect me. It's just a thing that happens. I'm going to let it pass through me. And it's a muscle that you build. I've been doing this for like, literally, I'm not an expert. I've been doing it for a week, right? So I'm going to be building this muscle of just letting things go. Really understanding, you know, when things happen, why am I feeling like this? Why is it causing this reaction? What happened in my past that is making me, causing a disturbance in my energy right now? And then I can always like reverse engineer, and then I realize, okay, it's probably because this happened. Why am I still holding on to it? Let me just let go. Let me just forget. It's just an object. Life's like a movie that I'm just watching at this point. That's how you've got to see it. And it allows you to let go. It allows you to detach from those kind of things, right? So always think about those wounds that you've never healed, or they're gonna hold you back. And another thing you mentioned is like, still on the same point, but this is why people are in constant suffering. Like you're always gonna be suffering if you're always holding on to things in your heart that aren't allowing you to move forward. It's not allowing energy to flow within you. One example that he gives is like, let's say for example, in terms of blocked energy, right? Let's say for example, your ex breaks up with you and you're like, super depressed. A lot of people get super depressed. Boyfriend, partner might break up with them, and this is something that's so big it's caused a blockage, right? You close up to the world. You close up the energy to the world. This is something that's caused a blockage. You don't want to get hurt anymore. You're protecting yourself. You're kind of hiding away, and you can't even have a shower. A lot of people, they can't even have a shower. They can't even make food. They can't go to the gym. They're just stuck in their bed. They may order pizza. That's the only time they leave their bed. And then they get that text from their ex. Text comes through, all of a sudden, they've got energy again. And why is this? Like, what causes them to go from such a depleted state to, you know, boom, I'm back in life again, you know, it's game on, we're back, my ex wants me again. What causes that? It's their energy just opening up again, they're opening their heart up, right? The old me would say this is super wishy-washy, but I am actually totally on board with this. It makes a lot of sense. That energy change is not through calories or them not getting any sleep. It's literally from them opening up their heart to energy just flowing through it. So that's what you want to do. You want to let energy flow through your heart. And this is how you become a lot more fulfilled in life, right? Just letting life pass through you, not getting too attached to what goes on. Like you don't want to get too attached to what goes on. If you're watching a movie and you get too attached to what goes on in the movie, you're going to end up crying, thinking that a character that dies, you've mourned them. You're going to get depressed thinking like, you know, you've lost someone in real life. It's kind of like that, right? And I know life is a lot more serious than that, but at the end of the day, like, we're on a spinning rock in the middle of nowhere. And we've only been here we're only coming here for a few years, and then we're leaving again. That's what life is essentially like. There's actually not really too much meaning to it. So just observe, just let life pass through, man. Just let life pass through, open up your heart. And then that also allows you to be a light for other people as well. But the third point, right? If you would live life fully in your final moments, why not now? You know when people are on their deathbed and they're super warm, they're super open, they're super calm, they're super at peace, they're serene. They're kind of like at a point where it's like any trivial things that happen in life, they don't really care. That doesn't matter right now. You tell someone that's got terminal illness, you've got a few weeks to live. Let's say they're still in a position to walk, right? They're gonna want to go outside. They're gonna look at the clouds and just really take them in. They're gonna be so happy to just take them in because they know they're gonna die, right? They know that life is finite. So why don't we act the same? Because we know we're gonna die as well, right? We know we're gonna die. So why wait until you get to a certain point to start living? If I know if I know that when I'm on my deathbed I'm gonna be that calm, that close to my consciousness where nothing else matters, I'm just observing, I'm just super aware. Why can't I start now? Why do I need to wait until whenever I die to do that? Alright? Like a lot of the time before I used to have this kind of thought in my head of like, life starts when I get this Rolex or I get this Rolls Royce or I'm super successful. But honestly, I'm in a position now where after reading this book, it's like I'm gonna start now, like every single day. You don't know when it's gonna be your last day, right? You just wanna let life flow through you, right? It's actually a privilege that we're here. So many things had to go right, had to happen for us to be on this planet. Being in life at this moment. So, just letting life pass through you, achieving that state of, serenity. People call it nirvana, some people, but just not clinging onto past stuff, right? Not clinging onto past stuff, just living in the moment, just experiencing life. Something bad happens to you, yeah, you're still gonna get angry, right? You're still gonna get angry, but just learning to just let it go that bit quicker, not to hold on to it and let it be a burden on your heart. Because when things are a burden on your heart, like you have a lot less energy in life and life becomes a lot harder. It becomes a lot harder. And this is how you can learn to live in the moment, enjoy the journey and the process of life rather than trying to only enjoy it when you achieve material success or anything like that. Because you'll achieve that and there's going to be 3 other guys that are way richer than you, and it's going to be a next mountain to climb, a next mountain to climb, and you're fooling yourself. You're fooling yourself at the end of the day. So yeah, nothing else really matters except just being present. I'm in my monk bag right now, man. I'm in my monk bag, but pretty much those are my 3 biggest takeaways from the book. It's essentially just having a level of space, right, from my thoughts, acknowledging, okay, why do I actually feel like this? Like, why do I actually have these thoughts right now? Is it linked to something that happened in my past? And if so, how can I let go of that so that I don't feel this, weight on my heart or my mind all the time? It helps you to stop overthinking as well, right? When you do things for other people's approval, you can just say to yourself, like, okay, why do I actually feel like this? Like, why do I need to act in this way? And 9 times out of 10, it's tied to something that happened in the past that you're still not letting go of. So learning to let go of it, being deep in that seat of consciousness, it's gonna change your life for sure. Now, this is a super impactful book. I give it 8.5 out of 10. I'd say some parts of the book, it was getting a little bit repetitive, but I like the book nonetheless. And this is my summary, so don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share as well. And back tomorrow.